the Instruct ceis envelope generator now. It's an ADSR envelope generator, and let me show this. Should change the time. All right. We have here is the attack time, of course, decay time, sustain level, and release time. And we can choose between different characteristics of the slope. We can choose between linear characteristic. Let me change it a bit more. Yeah, so we see here is decay, and then it goes down to sustain. Let's increase sustain a bit. That is better. That is better. And between linear or logarithmic envelope characteristic. As you see here, by pushing this button, I trigger the envelope and the thing starts in one-shot mode running. I can, of course, trigger the envelope externally, which I'm doing right now, but I should reduce the trigger frequency. Okay. Now we see it nicely. We have nearly no attack. Let me increase the attack a bit and go back to linear. Yeah, now we have all stages of an ADSR envelope. We can see them nicely. At the output, other way around, I can modulate the length of the attack, of the decay and the release, and the level of sustain by putting in control voltage here below the sliders. Interesting is what happens above the sliders, and let me show this. And we see, now I'm above the decay phase, and we see during the decay phase, this jack sends a gate out, high, logical high, and during this, nonsense. During this phase, I hope we see, during this phase, the envelope sends, the jack here sends a gate out during its release phase, and here during its attack phase, which is quite short. Let me increase it. It's too much. Yeah, so these sliders send, let me put it above. Yeah, now we have it better. And here now, of course, during the gate is opened by the output of this jacks here during the sustain phase. All right, so we can use this. I will do this in a minute or two. We can use this to trigger or open other modules. This pulse output, let me show it, sends an output at the beginning of the phases, the beginning of the attack phase, beginning of the sustain phase, beginning of the release phase, and perhaps we catch even the beginning of the, oh, we have it, I think, yeah. Okay, beginning of the decay phase. All right, what else is important and interesting to know? Yes, of course, the different modes, trigger mode or gate mode. Well, the thing is, in gate mode, let's know that first in trigger mode. Let me gate mode, trigger mode. In trigger mode, the envelope will run through all of its stages under the condition that the high level of the incoming gate signal here is long enough to make the envelope, to give the envelope enough time to run through all its stages. Otherwise, let me shorten, let me change the duty cycle here. Otherwise, you see that at the end of the gate, at the gate's high signal, the envelope jumps at once to the release phase here. Now we have no gates, we have trigger signals. So yeah, that's in trigger mode. Yes, in gate mode, it's different. In gate mode, all stages of the envelope are performed only as long as the gate signal is high. And you would say, hey, what was the same? No, it's not the same. The difference is in the length of the attack. So let me show it. Now we have really extreme short duty cycle. And now I switch back to trigger mode. And you see in trigger mode, the attack stage is performed anyway. It's performed anyway. It doesn't matter how long the high phase of the gate input is here. But in gate mode, it's performed only as long as here we have a high at the gate input. Well, I think that's all. So let me demonstrate something. Let me open a new patch, and I think it's called ceis 2 or something like that. Where do we have it? Yes, here it is. I have prepared it. Yeah, okay. But I have to zoom out. So what? A little bit more. So yeah, and you see here that I use the gate outs of 2 phases of the stages of and it's of the attack stage as well as of the sustain stage to trigger these percussion instruments, 2 kicks and one snare, and I use the pulse output here to trigger open hi-hat. Oh, it's closed hi-hat, sorry. No, of course it's closed hi-hat. Yeah, closed hi-hat, and the voice of the VCO here is sent through plateau, through the reverb. The rest is without reverb. So the whole patch is clear. I think if sample and hold through quantum modulates the pitch of this VCO, which sends its output through the VCA, which is modulated by this envelope, by Instru, classic. And I'm using, as I told you some seconds ago, I'm using the additional outputs of Instru to trigger the percussion. Yeah, that's it.